Hello guys, this is Levi. Today I'll be introducing the Tmux with Alacritty, which is my current setup. And the killing feature that I love about is the Alt key, which can be used while the traditional classical external emulator they don't have the implementation for Alt key. Let's get started. First thing, we'll go over how do we deploy my setup. You can take a look at my dotty.files management tutorial video. I will paste the link in the description below. Once you bootstrapped your machine, simply do dotty shell/tmux shell/alacritty and you're good to go. I already installed that, so it doesn't apply any changes. But if you look at what's inside this Tmux and my wait a second, let me find the file. Tmux init. It simply does the installation for Tmux plugin manager, which is TPM, and also install plugins for you. You could also find my Tmux configuration under shell/config/shell/tmux/tmux config, and it has plenty of configuration that I have. But you don't necessarily need to go over it if you don't want to. Let's go back to the features. What are the features that I love about? So let's talk about the prefix key for Tmux first. Prefix key, which is a key that you start with all the Tmux bindings for you. For example, if you want to attach a session, you can do TA, which is mapped to Tmux attach-t. If you want to create a session, you can use TS, which is mapped to Tmux new session-s. Let's create a new session called C. And as you can tell, the plugin that builds the themes for you, you have these fancy icons and identifiers for you to identify which session you are currently at. We only have one session, which is the first one, but you can do Ctrl+T+N to create a new session, and you can do that again. To detach the session, you can simply do Ctrl+T+D, and you are detached. Let's go back with Ctrl+T+A+C, and then it's attached again. For terminal multiplexer, this is the definition for Tmux. But what's the beautiful thing about this application? It can be used to detach processors from their controlling terminals, allowing SS sessions to remain active without being visible. So what does it mean? It means it can be running as a daemon process. Technically, it's not a daemon, but you can consider that even if it's not visible or active, it still remains active and running under the scene. So let's say if I etch into a remote machine, and then all of a sudden my laptop running out of battery or the Wi-Fi disconnected, then all the workflow or the process you're running lost the progress, and there's no way to roll back. But with Tmux, even if let's try a sleep function. Let's say sleep 30 seconds, and it starts counting. even if I detached or kill the terminal, it doesn't matter. I can simply open that and attach the session again, and you see the sleep is still running. This is super useful when you have a remote machine to work with, and it's also very useful because you don't have to work with multiple tabs. You can simply navigate through the sessions like by clicking them or through the navigation key that I will discuss. So it brings you the convenience, and yeah, it solves a lot of headache for me when navigation through different tabs. It also brings the functionality about with the multi-level session management. As you can tell, this is a session A, which have 3 terminals open. You can navigate through them by using the navigation key Alt Shift JKHL, which is a Vim key binding. If you don't use Vim, I mapped it to Control Shift with arrow key as well. This is being configured here. It was this one. So the Control key and the map and the Alt key. Alt is the meta key, which is M. This is being defined here. You can define your own key if you want. Let's go back. So what do I mean by multi-level? This means, for example, you can use the navigation panel, which is Control T, Control T, which brings you the panel. You see that session A has 3 terminals, session B has 1 terminal, session C has 3 terminals. You can visualize each one of them. Whatever I did here, I can simply visualize the progress of the session. So you don't have to go through, so you don't have to like use your mouse to click the tabs, and you don't need to remain these tabs active or afraid of your machine running out of battery. This is super helpful, and I should have, I forgot to discuss about the navigation key. You can use Alt Shift Alt to go left, to go right, Alt Shift H to go left, Alt Shift K to go up, Alt Shift J to go down. You can also use your navigation key as well for that. Use the arrow key, like Control Shift up, go up, and go up again, and go up again to go back to A. Go right, Control Shift right, Control Shift left to go left. So by using this, it makes your life much easier. It has multi-level, multi-level session management for you. You don't, then you can keep all the related session terminals in one session. And finally, I would like to discuss about the copy mode. It is a little complex for when you start to use the copy mode. So I mapped the key to simply do like use your mouse to select and go up or go down. It will copy the stuff for you. And once you select it, use key Y to copy it. And you see it's still under copy mode, and you need to use Q to quit. Y to copy, Q to quit. And if you don't like the mouse way, then you can use your key binding, which getting into the copy mode, which is Control T and escape. Control T, escape, brackets, square brackets key. Then it goes into the copy mode, and you can use your key binding, and you can start selection by press V key, and then you can select the region you want to copy, and once you finalize your selection, then press Y. And now you want to quit the copy mode, press Q. Then definitely you can paste it here, or paste it somewhere else, or paste it on your stack or messenger, whatever you want. Alright, this is the powerful key bindings that I use. The default key binding prefix key for Tmux is Control B, but I definitely don't like it. I think because I use Control B to go back and go forward with Control F. I definitely don't like Control B at all. So I'm going to mark this as a strike through. So okay, the next session is why I use Alacritty. So Alacritty is a project terminal application that has cross-platform support, and it also has GPU support. It's very efficient when you have very fast command line rendering going on, and it utilizes GPU to render it, so it won't see any lagging or unpleasant experience. And it's also very memory efficient compared with iTerm. For example, I didn't open the iTerm terminal. Let me open it and see how that goes. The item has 400 megabytes. It's supposed to have only 200 megabytes. I don't know why it increases. Let me open that again. I don't have 400 megabytes. I'm not sure why it has 400 now. It's supposed to have 250 megabytes usage. But let's compare with Alacritty. You see, it only uses under 50 megabytes, which is very memory efficient. And you don't really have to work with iTerms tabs, creating tabs and navigating through them. It's a little pain in the ass, and you don't have the multi-level. Like you only have one level, and it's stacked in a row. It doesn't have vertical sessions. Alright, let's go back to the slides. Version control configuration. So the beautiful thing about Alacritty is everything is version controlled. What does that mean? That means Alacritty configuration, I've split the configuration into pieces, but there was one complete one that you can find it here. You can also reference this one, which is a demo example that provided by Alacritty team. It has very detailed explanation and all the configuration you want to use. Yeah, it's, if you like to go over it, go ahead. Let's go back. So because everything is configured using YAML, you're pretty much, you can use whatever version control application you want to use. I use Git, and I version controlled everything in my GitHub configuration repo for my dot files, and I love to version control all my configurations. So it's a killing feature for me. So finally, we go to the Alt key. The Alt key is, I'm definitely seeing this as the most important feature for me, especially for a Doom Emacs user. For some of the FCF user, you might want to use it. So there are a few keys that you want to map your other editor's behavior. For example, Control F or Control P or Control E. These are the key bindings that uses Alt key. Sorry, Alt P, Alt E, and Alt F, or Alt C, Alt V. So some of them are not mapped in other terminal application like iTerm or the default terminal application provided by Mac OS. But I can definitely map it in Alacritty. Like, for example, I press Command P to basically searching for files, all the files that I use here. Control P to navigate through all the files in my dotty repo, and Control. Do I have? No, I didn't map Control F. Control E. And for example, if I open my Emacs and I want to use Control P, then it brings up the default Control P, searching for all the files in my Emacs, and Control E to open recent buffer. And Control E is, Alt E was used by VS Code, and I sometimes use VS Code and Sync. Alt E is pretty efficient way of searching for a recent buffer, so I map it everywhere. You see, these two are recent buffer that I use, and there are many other keys that I use. For example, Control F to search for stuff, and without Alacritty, I couldn't use the Alt key in my Emacs. So the question is, how am I able to do that? So if you take a look at my Alacritty configuration, there was a session called key binding. You can also find it in this file, keybinding.yaml file, which is under shell Alacritty config Alacritty key binding. I mapped all the command key to Alt key, and this represents the char, and you can use this URL to find the ASCII char's representation for your key bindings. Mostly I mapped everything that uses command key and map it to use Alt key, and once I've done that, I'm able to matching the behavior between Linux and macOS and make everything behaves like treated the same thing for me. So it's very efficient, very beautiful. You don't have to memorize different key bindings for different OS. That is the one-for-all solution for you. Alright, I think that's it for everything I would like to discuss. If you like the video, go subscribe and thumbs up. Thanks for watching.